30 years ago, I was spring black bear hunting with a friend about 30 kilometers east of Prince George, BC, Canada. And we used to cruise the bush roads slowly when I can get my friend when he was driving to slow down. That's another story. And what we would do is check out various clear cuts and basically spot and stalk. And on the way back to town from a long, uneventful day of bear hunting, this very long-legged, lanky black bear crosses the road about 200 yards ahead of us. This would have been on the Beaver Bear Road. That's what it's called. Was called. Probably still is. And what was unusual that I noticed about this bear right away was its legs were unusually long, its back was quite tall, and it seemed to have a short snout on it, which, I don't know, maybe it ran into a parked truck, or maybe, I don't know what the hell. Didn't make sense. But, anyways, so this bear crosses from left to right, and then it turns to oncoming traffic, basically, you know, the right side of the road, and it's traveling up the ditch straight towards us. And the other thing I noticed that was really unusual about this bear was, I don't know if you ever watched Sesame Street when you were a kid, but used to have this dog, Barkley the dog, and this thing, just the way it moved, you know, it was like a guy in a suit, but it looked like the happiest dog you ever seen. And that's what this bear was putting out with the way it was moving. It was moving just like Barkley the dog, which was also very unusual. And well, that's not where the unusual stops. So, anyways, my buddy comes to a stop, rolls to a stop, and I bail out. I'm in the passenger side, and I've got my rifle steady rest on my knee, and I'm scoped in on this thing, and this thing's happily, you know, strolling, I don't know how else to describe it, straight towards us. Happiest bear you ever seen. And I'm looking at it through a rifle scope. I'm dialed up to 9 power, and the face don't look right. I don't know, it's just something different about it. I can't put my finger on it. And this thing's getting closer and closer. And my buddy, generally speaking, when a guy is, bearing down on an animal, you know, it's up to the guy running the trigger to decide whether he's going to, you know, pull the trigger or not. And your buddy, it's his job just to, kindly shut the fuck up. Really, that's his job. You don't make any noise. Like, that could actually, you know, throw a hunt easily. It's not done. And only a dumb son of a bitch doesn't know this. But anyway, my friend wasn't the brightest light on the Christmas tree. And I should have stopped hunting with him right there and then that day, and in hindsight I wish I did. Anyways. So he says, you know, he says, that thing's only 80 yards away. Like, when the hell are you going to shoot this thing? Like, what are you waiting for? And so I caved to the pressure, and I, you know, let it off. And the rifle bellowed, and I lost the sight picture for a second. And as soon as I regained it, this is where it gets really, really weird. What should have happened was 180 grain bullet at that distance is traveling pretty close to 3,100 feet per second out of a 300 Winchester Magnum, and I aimed for the brisket, which would have been, you know, under the chin, under the neck, This one had a white star basically right down here in this area, like not a star but like a triangle shape, and a pure white. And the bullet should have entered there, and it should have eviscerated the animal. There should have been all kinds of innards all over the road, strewn down the road for probably about 30 feet. That's what, typically would happen in a shot in that. And it's gruesome, yeah, but that's how it works. Wouldn't have been much of a gutting job to do on that bear. And I used to hunt bear, for meat for my family. You were allowed 2 a year, and for 30 years I punched a couple tags every year. So what I did see was this. That's what I saw. Where the bear was, it was as if something drew it in, and it turned into like a spiral, like a vortex, and there was a weird kind of vacuum sucking noise, and it was completely gone from view. And we go over there, and my buddy's commenting, that was weird, and I said, well, what did you see? And he said he wasn't sure, and I said, well, it kind of looked to me like it rolled off the road to the right, but that's not really what I saw. This is what I saw. So we went over there. We were looking for some kind of sign. It was early spring. There was kind of a frozen swamp on the right side. The road was a built-up road bed in that particular spot. There was nothing. The only thing that we found was a little tuft of pure white fur. Hair, really, like just as white as this page. And that's it. That's all that was there. We searched all around there for probably better than an hour, and just no tracks, no blood, no nothing. Just that hair. I should have kept the hair. I wish I did now in hindsight, but I didn't. And we both just kind of accepted that, well, there's no bear here, and we carried on with our lives. But I know more now about Sasquatch than I did then. And there is a number of them that like to run around on all fours, just like a bear. And that's what this was. It took me a long time to accept it. I've had a long time to think about it. And I've heard a lot of encounter reports, experience reports. And this is one of the things that's encountered. And I've actually seen a number of these over the years. And get this, after that incident, something started hitting the back of my house every night around, well, evening time, dusky time, sundown. Something would whap the back of my house. Sometimes the back of the house, sometimes the north wall, higher up. And sometimes it would really thump the house. And, we would just kind of dismiss it as, oh, it's an old house, it's settling, it's, a temperature change thing. Well, this would happen on days when the temperature was pretty even. And it happened for like 30 years. And usually if I was sitting back there by the wood stove, it would hit basically the door close to me. And every time you looked, there'd be nothing there. When it would hit the north roof, I would go out and look, and there'd just be nothing there. Always be nothing there. So I think it was potentially retaliation for me squeezing the trigger on this thing, but I bear absolutely zero guilt, because if you're going to run around in spring bear season acting and looking like a black bear, and if you find a high-speed lead pill has embedded into your skin, you got no one to blame but yourself. These things are supposed to be intelligent creatures, and it seemed like a setup to me. You can't fucking set me up and then expect me to act like I have blood on my hands, like you know, and the whole world lied to me my whole life. Oh, the Sasquatch aren't real. Sasquatch, they're as real as you and me. And I've had a long time to think about this and what went down and how it went down. And I have a theory, and I can't prove it, but all I can tell you is that what I saw with my own eyes, this thing did not leave a body, and it certainly should have. So, is it possible that Sasquatch cannot be killed? Could that be why the government don't want us to know about Sasquatch? Because they don't leave a physical body. They can come and go from the physical plane as they please. They can turn invisible by several methods. But is it possible that spiritual Sasquatch do not leave a body when they depart from this plane, this physical plane? Something to think about.